my badass boys and badass babes. It is your keeper of the holiday spirit, Virgo the Vixen. And as always, hit those likes and subscribe buttons where they're at. As you can tell by the headpiece and by the outfit, it's Christmas time. And so that means, as promised, we are going to be looking at 3 Christmas movies. We're going to be taking a little social satire look at it, spin it to where it's funny, humorous, and these are all movies that I truly enjoy. 5 out of 5. All 3 of these movies, I give 5 out of 5 stars. Now, before we begin, let me define what a Christmas movie is in my book, okay? Does the movie have a Christmas tree? If it has a Christmas tree, then the answer is it's a Christmas movie. That is my definition, all right? Just keep that in mind. And as you've seen by the title, today we are going to be taking a look at the movie Gremlins, which came out in June of 1984. And it answers the question, what happens when you give a sexually frustrated, late teen, early 20 years old man who's living at home being cock-blocked by his parents from getting any sex from his girlfriend, who is good looking, I gotta tell you that, and give him an exotic pet with instructions that any moron could follow? This movie answers that question and basically what happens. So let me give you a brief recap of this movie. Father goes, he's a traveling salesman, goes into a shop in Chinatown, finds this cute little creature called a Mogwai. Before there was Baby Groot, before there was Baby Yoda, we had the original cuteness in Gizmo, the Mogwai. If you don't believe me, Google his image. He is adorable, and back in those days, everyone wanted a Mogwai. Some of us still do. But anyways, so the shopkeeper was saying, nope, not going to sell it. Too dangerous. Nope, ain't going to happen. The grandson says, hey, look, pal, just meet me on the alley. We need the money. So basically, he trades some, the money for the Mogwai, and this is where things start to go off the rails. Because like I said, once again, the main character's name is Billy, and he's in his late teens. He works at a bank. He's not looked at well by his boss, who's a real ball buster of a bitch. And like I said, and is only, how can we say, I can't say positive. He has a loving mother and father who he lives with in the attic upstairs in his room. Again, if you know of a man who's in his late 20s, I should say late teens, early 20s, hey, trust me, he is going through some shit, okay? Let's just be realistic here. And he wants to get out, but he's stuck at home. And for the record, I just want to say something about his girlfriend. She is super cute. She is not the stereotypical blonde bimbo that is portrayed in almost every 80s movie. No, she's a brunette. She is cute. She is the girl next door. And believe it or not, she is actually smart. She is not bubble-headed, blonde, dumb. She is actually intelligent. So thank God for this one. Anyways, father brings him home, lays out the rules, and you think something as simple as these 3 rules. Number 1, they don't like bright light. That hurts their eyes, and sunlight will kill them. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, don't get them wet, okay? And we're going to find out what happens when we get them wet later on. And number 3, never ever feed them after midnight. 3 simple rules any of us could follow. But oh no, Billy here manages to screw up these rules. Okay, number 1, he gets his, how can we say, pet Gizmo. And he calls him Gizmo. All right, and Gizmo can sing too. Believe it or not, he actually has a good little voice. So, anyways, Billy gets him wet. And what happens when you get a Mogwai wet? He multiplies, okay? Just depends on how much water. Depends on, I don't know the ratio of what water to equal how many Mogwai. The point is, you get them wet, all of a sudden these little balls of fur pop out and more Mogwais appear. Now, Mogwais are very curious and can be very destructive creatures, okay? Cute plus destructive does not equal good, as this movie does illustrate. All right, so Billy screws up the second rule. He hasn't screwed up the first rule, but he just said, first rule, no problem, don't like a dead Mogwai, not good. But somehow, accidents happen, we get him wet. So he brings him to his former teacher, who's a scientist. He gets one wet again. On purpose, he drops like a couple drops of water. Boom, out comes another one. And he gives that one to his professor friend. Okay? Again, this is not smart. All right? By any stretch of the imagination. You were told not to do this, and what do? Ta-da! We get more problems. And here's where the third one is. And he breaks this rule. To be fair, it was not intentional, but he wasn't smart about it either. Okay? The Mogwais, the ones who multiplied, okay? Now, they were led by one, I can't say an eagle. I will say an evil Mogwai. His name was Stripe. Had a stripe down the center of his forehead. He becomes basically the leader of the Gremlins. And I'll explain to that in a minute. Gizmo, no, he's cool. He's happy. He's not being mischievous. He's just, doing his own little thing. These little critters over here that just got multiplied not too long ago, somehow they managed to disable the clock. And guess what? Billy feels him after midnight. It's like, only got 5 minutes to midnight. Dude, seriously, if it gets even remotely close, I'd be like, 11 o'clock? Yeah, guess what? Y'all going to bed. See you tomorrow morning. I ain't taking any chances, because what happens when you feed a Mogwai after midnight, and same thing with his professor friend over here, because he left a sandwich out, and guess what? They turn into the Gremlins that you see in the horror movie itself. Okay, these things are destructive, they're evil, they're mischievous, they're destructive. And the worst part is they do things that we want to do. Okay, I'm not kidding you. And I'll get to that part in a moment. So, basically, his professor friend gets killed by the gremlin that was there. And guess what happens? These things turned out to be these evil little gremlins, and they do all these nasty things. Now, for the record, I am putting a link in the video below to the greatest blender and microwave scene, because the Gremlins tried to attack Billy's mom. And guess what? This woman don't play. Okay, she is your stereotypical Midwest housewife. But you know what? The woman came to play. I'm going to put it in the link below because it has the best blender scene, the best microwave scene. And in 1984, everyone was freaking out about it. And like I said, you can watch it below. But anyways, so she kills them. Unfortunately, Stripe, and this is where shit goes off the wall, jumps into a pool of water, and now all of a sudden there is just gremlins everywhere. And the worst part is they're doing things, like I said, that we want to do. Let's face it, there's a dark part of us that would love to drive a snowplow through somebody's house. Yes, they do that. Now, as I was saying, Billy worked in a bank. They find the bank manager, the owner, and she is a mean and ruthless lady. And this is the part where I may have destroyed my tape of Gremlins by rewinding it just so I could watch this part over and over, just like the microwave and blender scene, is where they produce, how can we say this, a karmatic justice to the bank manager, excuse me. And like I said, I may have destroyed it because I kept rewinding it back because I was laughing so hard and I need to watch it again. But anyways, they do things like this. All right, they are causing destruction and chaos throughout the town. They are killing people. They are not nice. They are evil. And here's the thing. Billy has to somehow summon his courage to take all these creatures on. Now, here's where he has one advantage. He has a girlfriend who's actually smart. She's a bartender, and here they are in the bar. I'm not kidding you. These guys like to party down. You think that gremlins are just going to sit around and just, how can we say this, reminisce about their shit? Hell no. They're going to the bar and they're getting drunk just like the rest of us. Again, they do stuff that we would want to do. Okay, they're in the bar. They're pounding their glasses. They want beer. Let's face it, we've all done it one time. It's like, yo, refill here, right now. Come on, let's be honest. We've done that a time or two. But my favorite scene is where you have one gremlin who is acting like a damn fool. And his friend just pulls out a gun and just shoots him. Just like, bam. And he starts laughing. And let's face it, we have all been there, okay, where we want to shoot one of our friends for acting dumb. Again, they do stuff that we want to do. But the girlfriend's super smart, and she lures them into a building, and she manages to wipe all of them out except for one, Stripe. All right? Stripe manages to escape the trap, and this is where the showdown between Billy Gizmo and Stripe go on. And I won't spoil the ending because it's really nice. It's a good movie. 5 out of 5 stars. So let's review the movie all together. All right, number 1. I may have destroyed my tape by rewinding it too much and playing it over. That's number 1. Number 2, Mogwais. Let's go over the simple rules. Sunlight kills them. Don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet. 3 simple rules anyone could do, except for this sexually frustrated young man who apparently can't follow those, and which leads into a nice little segue into number 3. If you're living with your parents and you're in your 20s, I can understand how hard it is because you're trying to make it on your own. You're trying to get your own place, but at the same time, you're being cock-blocked by your parents. So guess what? Life sucks. That doesn't mean you have to destroy the whole town from it. So anyways, that is this week's movie. Next week, I'm going to be reviewing, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek, but just to let you know, it's a comedy movie. I'm not going to say which one, but it's also in the 80s, 90s genre era. So I'll just give you a hint on that, and it is a comedy. All right, this is the only horror movie, and for the record, again, what do I define a Christmas movie as? Any movie with a Christmas tree. So, my badass boys and badass babes, as always, who's your keeper of the holiday spirit? And who's your vixen, of course? Bye-bye.